We're live on Facebook, live on webinar. Let's talk
Bam.
about how to turn 100 contacts into 12 contracts.
That's right. Contacts to contracts, baby. That's the trip we're on today. Contacts to contracts. We can do it.
And for those of you on Facebook and on the webinar side of this, let us know what city, state, or country you're from. There we go. We got our first one, Mike from St. Louis. What's up, dude?
What up, Mike? How are you?
The best zoos out there. Dan, have you ever been to the St. Louis Zoo?
I have not. No, but I've eaten St. Louis barbecue. I'll do that again.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. I love that. There we go. Everybody coming in, chiming in. We got Michelle from Austin.
Man,
we got
names are moving fast.
Sarah Patton. You have a beautiful name. I just don't know how to pronounce it. That is a really interesting name. I like that. Look, Denver, Colorado, not too far from Park City, dude.
Nice. Hey, I was in Denver on the way home just day before yesterday. I got a comment here. McKinley Lovins from Charlotte, North Carolina. We have an actual McLovin on the call today. How cool is that?
That is a really good
How cool is that? We got Stacy in Chicago and Janet in Beverly Hills.
Nice.
Yeah, Mike says KC barbecue's better.
Oh, you know what? I'll leave it at that. They're probably both amazing.
Oh, Kip is here from San Francisco. Some of my favorite places to eat in the world are in San Francisco. House of Nanking. Man, I want to eat there now. I want to get there today.
Kami West in Park City, Utah. You just came from there.
I did. I stayed at the St. Regis with the family for 6 glorious days. It was amazing.
When are you going to buy
really
a house out there so you can use Kami?
There you go. Maybe, I tell you what, I haven't taken my family many places where they said, hey, we could live here, but Park City was definitely one of them.
Oh,
so that was cool.
Heck yeah. All right.
That was
cool.
We
got a lot of people on here. Let's get this party started, Dan.
Let's get rolling. So I think I've got permission to share my screen.
I think you do.
I'm going to show you the polar opposite of where I was. Can you see the sand dune?
I see it.
Right. And now we're going to pull these slides up here so we can kind of guide our conversation.
Hey, now, that's you and me.
That's you and me, baby. That's us. That's what you've got for sure.
I like it.
So a few things, like before we start anything at all, I don't care if it's, the first day of the week, the first day of the month, first day of the quarter. It's always important for us to start with some clear goals in mind. That's huge, right? How are we going to accomplish anything if we don't know for sure what's really important for us to accomplish? So I want to just be real clear about why we're here today, because if you're here for something else, you may as well get on with your day, okay? What we're going to do is define the real problem, okay? And I'm just going to leave the mystery around that for a moment. We're going to define the real problem, I promise you, and then we're going to show you how to overcome that real problem. And because it's me and Tristan, we got to do this too. We got to have some fun on the way, right? So is that cool? Are we all on the same page? Can we do these things?
I'm not sure about having fun, but go ahead, Dan.
That's the tricky part. So have you ever seen comedians in cars having coffee?
I have. I saw the one, Howard Tager said I had to watch the one with, is this the one with Jerry Seinfeld or no?
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld's the host.
Perfect.
So like probably a lot of people have watched this. If you've seen this already, just raise your hand in the chat. Tell us you have. I heard Jerry Seinfeld quote something yesterday and I was like, oh, I got to stop and write this down. This is so important, right? So I'm going to share this quote from Jerry. He said, pain is knowledge rushing in to fill a gap. Ooh. Pain is knowledge rushing in to fill a gap. Think about that.
I like that, dude. I'd never heard that one.
Yeah, I just think that's so cool. Like he said, think of it. You get out of the bed in the middle of the night and you bang your shin on your bedpost, right? That's knowledge of where that bedpost is as it knocks into your shin. You're taught by your pain consistently throughout life, right? So I thought it would be really good for us today to talk about what hurts in our real estate businesses. So, this session is really designed to define what this big real problem is and help you get past it. So I want to hear in the chat, tell us now what's hurting in your real estate business.
Oh, okay. Guys, chime in on the Facebook side or here in this chat. Let us know what your Well, answer the question. What hurts in your real estate business right now? Is it processes, systems? Is it leverage? Is it lead generation? More leads? What does that look like?
I see Olivia says no open houses in California.
That's right.
Conrad says database and follow-up. Kim saying inventory at an all-time low. Getting leads to respond, getting agents to buy into the importance of using a CRM and making their calls. Getting more qualified leads, more scripts, lack of leads, database, leverage.
Time blocking, got one from Joyce. Time blocking.
I mean, there are a ton of good ones here. So let's kind of pick through these. We're getting tons of response here. Let's really think high level. Like, what is the thing that's stopping you from having the success you want to have in your real estate business? What is it? What's the right question to ask about this?
That's a good question, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, do you want me to answer it, or was that rhetorical?
I want everybody to answer this question.
Chime in, everybody.
See, I'm seeing things here about systems, being consistent, a mindset. That's always a great one, Conrad. Hiring the right people. Totally agree with that. Focus. Okay. So just notice what's happening here. Like, we're talking about what the pain is in your real estate business. And some of these answers that are coming up are very internal. Like, it's not a market condition, it's an internal condition. So that's interesting. Luann says procrastinate on follow-up. Like, that's not a market problem. That's a people problem. Ava says not being a tech
problem. I love that.
Yeah. So sticking to a schedule, limiting mindset. See that one?
Wait, we got a good one, Dan. Hold on. Mm-hmm. This is having fun. This is the having fun part. Ron on Facebook says, does feet, knees, back, hands, head count?
Say that again.
Does feet, knees, back, hands, head count? Does that count as hurt,
Gotcha.
I'm going to say, Ron, that counts. Ron,
who just came back from skiing for a week? Like, I did. So I can relate to some of those pain points for sure.
That made me laugh.
Right. So Debbie, having many FHA buyers in a cash world. Like, Amber, no childcare to be able to work as hard as I need. Ooh. Like, there are all these different reasons, right? And I'm going to challenge you to change your thinking here a little bit, because if we take all of these potential things, like some of them are very temporary. Market conditions will change, right? Funding will change. There will be change that we can expect and depend upon. But the real problem is very, very consistent. So I'm going to submit for your evaluation that the real problem is how to affordably grow your real estate business. Does that make sense?
It does. I was going to say something along those lines without knowing you had this here, by the way. And that was, I think most people just don't understand what it is that they need to do next, in what order or process to be able to accomplish that. And that fits right into it.
Yeah, it does. What I love about this question is, if you're a brand new agent, this is your question. Like, if you're a seasoned agent, this is your question. If you're building a team, this is your question. If you're building your brokerage, this is your question. It scales as you scale. No matter the size of the ambition that you have for yourself and your career, this is the question you need to be asking yourself. And, the word affordably is bolded there because it's so, so important. It's not about what you earn. It's about what you keep, right? You've got to do these things affordably. Your goal should not be to pay lead gen companies as much money as possible, right? Your goal should be to achieve your goals, whatever those are. That's really what's important here. So we're going to focus on some of this back and forth here a little bit, because that's the best way for you to really learn. And if we say the real problem is how to affordably grow your real estate business, then we've got to talk about what solutions are out there, right? So how do we do this, Tristan? How do we affordably grow our real estate businesses?
Well, I think that's that's the question you need to look at the most. And what we usually say, which is the same answer, Dan, you look at who already knows you, right? This way you don't have to invest any more money into other things like lead generation that costs money. People already know you. They're in here, right? This is where they're in.
Yeah. As I see all of those answers come in from the previous question, like a lot of those are very solution related. Like, not knowing what coach to choose is one of the answers.
Yeah.
Not knowing how to generate leads, not knowing the right script. Like these are all tiny little pieces of the puzzle, but they're not the root issue, right? So if the root issue or the root question is how to affordably grow your real estate business, the root solution is simple, is super simple. So before I tell you my thoughts on this, I want to hear your thoughts. Like I really want to know from all of you who are paying attention to this today, what do you think the solution is to that question? How do you affordably grow your real estate business? And I'll tell you, the answer is the same, whether you're a brand new agent, super experienced agent, whether you're on a team or building a team, whether you're a managing broker or, this is your literal first day of ever holding a license. The answer is the same. So what do you guys think that might be? I want to hear your responses.
We need some answers here, both on Facebook and in the chat in the webinar. I'm eyeing Facebook right now to, what's up, Ariel? I see you. Good. All right, we're getting some answers here. Follow up, media, reconnect with people you know and ask for referrals. That's a good one. Nurture the relationship we already have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm terrible at.
Those are good.
I'm getting better, okay?
Yeah, those are good answers. Facebook, LinkedIn, follow up with past clients. Let's see. Keeping in connection with people. It's free. Love that. Keeping up with technology. Like these are all potential answers to that.
Yep.
Amber has a good one here. Hire people who do the things they can do better than you, right? That's a way to get leverage. It's a good answer. Mario says, never give up. Kira says, show love, care, and ability to help. I love that, Kira.
I like that. Good job.
Yeah, lots of good answers here. Believe in yourself, says Sandy. It's awesome. Alan Rice, proper systems. Yeah. So again, guys, we're talking about the fundamental stuff, the roots here. So just like we're not asking ourselves about how to thrive in a specific market condition, we're asking ourselves how to affordably grow our real estate businesses, right? The answer here has to apply to everyone, no matter where we are in our career. And I will submit to you that the answer to this is super simple, right? It is super simple to understand. It may seem less simple to actually pull off, right? And that answer is to be an awesome human.
I didn't expect that one.
Yes, be an awesome human. So
hold on, I'm gonna snapshot this and I'm just gonna post it into LabCoatAgents right now. I love that one. Thanks.
Yeah, we can shock some people like, oh my God, how startling is this, right? Just be freaking awesome and everything gets easier. Just immediately be the best person that's ever been, and the business will take care of itself. It's easy, right? Just be awesome. You want to be rich? Just have more money. Like, why not, right? These things seem incredibly easy. And yet they're not. Like, we struggle with these things as people. We do. So, I need to explain this, right? This is a little bit of an unusual answer to this question. So I'm going to submit to you that the reason we need to be awesome is because everybody wants to work with awesome people. Right?
Right.
Do you, Tristan? Do you like to work with awesome people? I noticed you have Tessa and Jake on your team, so I figured you did.
I mean, yeah. I think the better question is, do you want people to work with you, right? And
well,
sometimes you realize that you're the one that's the problem.
You can be, sure. So, but again, keeping it real high level here, we're going to work on solving these easy things first. So you need to be awesome. Because people want to work with people who are awesome. That's pretty simple. Everybody wants that. And everybody wants to talk about awesome people. Also simple, right? right? So if it's important for people to make remarks about you, you must become remarkable. Right? Again, kind of a straight path here. And the bonus, as one of our attendees pointed out, is it's free. Like, I absolutely love that this stuff is free. Right? You don't need any technology to be awesome. You don't need a $1 million lead budget to be awesome. You just simply need to be awesome.
I love it.
So if that's the goal, we better define it, right? So what's awesome? What do you guys watching this right now consider to be awesome? Enter your answers for me.
That's a good one. What does it take to be awesome? I like that. Tell us, show us. Well, we can't see you, but tell us.
But we can read.
Type it in.
We can read in the chat.
I want to know what you think.
Yeah. Being genuine, service, trust, being kind, giving, source of knowledge, being ethical to your clients, being motivating, calling your friends if they're not feeling well, light up a room inclusive of everyone, friendly, knowledgeable listener, be kind, be helpful, being dependable, being authentic, having positive, awesome people surround you, being a master at your craft, having a sense of humor, having a PMA, positive mental attitude.
I like PMA. Look at that. I didn't know that was the acronym. I like
That's it. PMA. That's it. Hustle and trust, being authentic, being kind, trustworthy and helpful. Make other people feel better by just being around you.
Dude.
Love that, right? That's awesome. We all know that person. They walk in and you're like, oh, you're here. Yay. I immediately feel better when I'm around awesome people, right? Being a great communicator, going the extra mile, under promising, over delivering, educating yourself in real estate and distributing the info. Okay, so I'm gonna push back on that one a little bit. I think that's a prerequisite. Like, you better do that. That's the bare minimum you better do. We're talking about being awesome. So it takes more, right? Mm-hmm. Have faith in yourself that you can deliver what people need, having passion. Love these answers, guys. This is great. Olivia, scheduling Zoom meetings for your manager.
Going above and beyond. There you go. That's definitely awesome.
That's great. So, I mean, as we see here, there are tons of answers about what goes into being awesome, right? And to some extent, it's subjective. Like, some of you will consider things awesome that other people don't, and that's okay. Like, there's no wrong answer here. And yet, of these answers, there are a few things, 3 specific things that when you do these, people will consider you to be awesome. Most people will respond to you in a very positive way when you do these 3 things. So let's break it down. First thing that awesome people do is lift others, right? And we saw a lot of feedback here about this. Being positive, being optimistic, and rarely complaining, right? You will show up as awesome when you do those things, for sure.
Very true.
Another thing that awesome people do is keep their word. Like, it's sad that that has to be on the list, but we live in a world where a lot of people don't expect. They just don't expect people to keep their word today. I think that's really sad, you know, and I think when it comes to a career choice where you're serving as a fiduciary, like, you know, the way, say again?
No, nothing.
Nope. You know, showing up as a fiduciary is really important, right? And yet, that's not the way that most people will consider whether or not you keep your word. I think about that for a minute.
Very true.
Like, how often do you talk to someone who says they're going to do something and then they don't? Right? This can be as simple as, you know what? Let me look up the answer to that and I'll get right back to you. And then they don't get back, right?
Yeah.
So this is a seemingly mild point, but it's absolutely huge. And it's at the very core of our ability to really serve people over time. Because, you know, remember, we started out saying it's not the external conditions that really determine our ultimate success. It's the internal conditions. And if you are in the practice of telling people you will do things and then you don't, you're eroding your ability to trust yourself. Think about that. Like many people don't succeed because they don't trust they have the ability to succeed, right? They don't have faith in themselves, their own ability to succeed, because they can't even trust themselves to do the simple thing of staying in touch with someone once they've said that they will.
Very true.
Right? Professionals do what they say they're going to do, right? And if you market yourself as a professional and then you don't keep in touch with people you've attracted and promised to take care of, you're letting them down. You're not doing what you say you're going to do. And that is a huge hole in the bucket of your business. If you've ever had the experience of driving home through your neighborhood and you see some other agent's sign in front of one of your neighbor's houses, someone you know, that's the result of you not doing what you said you'd do, really keeping in touch with them and taking care of them, right? So these two are pretty straightforward, right? You're lifting others, like wherever you are, wherever you show up in a positive way, right? Be positive, be optimistic, and consistently for your own good, do what you say you're going to do, and then express gratitude. Awesome people express gratitude. They do.
That's a hard one for a lot of people, because what happens is we have so many negative thoughts, and we're like, some of us live in a world where there's just isn't enough abundance, right? So there's no gratitude. That's a big challenge. I've definitely seen that.
Well, you know what? At the lowest points of life, you can find gratitude in almost anything. Like you can be grateful for gravity holding you firmly against the earth. At least I'm not floating away. You can be thankful for the feeling of sun on your skin. You can be thankful for your lungs' ability to draw in air. Like just take a moment and consider what a miracle it is that we have hundreds of people connected watching this.
Yeah.
Like it's astounding. There's so much that we really have to be to be grateful for, like the English language. I'll learn to speak it someday.
That's coming.
These are the three things that are on my list, and I believe that if you show up this way to the world, people will regard you as awesome, and I believe that makes everything else easier, right? So again, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you believe this? Does this list make sense? Give me a yes in the chat. Or tell me no if you don't think it makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, no.
Yes.
Got it.
Absolutely yes. Right. So it's a balance, guys. It's a balance between the simplicity of what I've just explained and the complexity that life is constantly throwing at us. Like that's the war that's raging all the time. Whether you know it or not, your life is constantly under the barrage of others attempting to make it their life, right? We live in a time when our attention is currency. You're all giving me something incredibly valuable right now. You're giving me your attention. It's literally a currency today. So wherever you are and whatever place you're at, whether you're brand new, you're super experienced, whether you're an agent, a team leader, whether you're growing a national brokerage, like you're constantly trying to balance the simplicity of affordably growing your business with your internal landscape while constantly being approached with these new and different opportunities all the time, left and right, some of which may work and some of which won't, right? So this is where we need to transition from the simplicity of what I've just explained over to some complexity, okay? We're going to cross that divide together right now. And we're going to do this within a very simple plan, right? We're going to talk about what it really takes to win right now. So if it's not a massive budget and it's not, a CRM system and it's not having tons of leverage, it comes down to relationships, right? Isn't that what we uncovered earlier in the session? That really it's our relationships that make the biggest difference in our ability to reach our goals. That's it. Exactly. I would stake my life on the fact that's it, because I know for certain it is.
Yeah.
I have been that entrepreneur who worked for more than a decade to build a multi-million-dollar company, to have one stroke of the legislator's pen take 15 years of work and just wash it away. I had to shake the hands and hug and dry the tears of 100 employees. And I know for certain that the reason I was able to bounce back from that is because of the relationships I have in my life. Like, that's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. So there's no race here. Like, you don't win a prize for having the most contacts, right? You win the prize for having great relationships. That's how it works. So I'm going to encourage you to start small. Like, 100 contacts is all we're going to talk about here. Like, just 100 people, and I don't know where everyone is in their career that's watching this right now. I'm going to show you how to turn 100 contacts into 12 contracts, which, for a typical agent and a typical market, that's going to take them from a point where they're really struggling to where they actually have a business, right? And in a lot of situations, we have clients who have 100 contacts that they really have great relationships with, and they're doing 50, 60, 70 transactions per year. Like, they've gone far beyond just being able to stay in business, and they're thriving in the business that they're in. So the first thing that we've got to do here is really understand what this plan is, right? So the step here is simply to learn the plan. This is not rocket science. You can do this yourselves without spending a dime on technology. It's simple and it will work. So write this down. You need 41 touches to each of those 100 people per year. Okay. Now,
my dog agrees with you.
Yes, that dog does. Is that your dog?
That's my little dog.
Okay, awesome.
Big bark little dog.
So what's a touch, right? A touch is some outbound communication from you to them. It can be a phone call. It can be a face-to-face meeting. It can be sending them a card, sending them an email, a text, a voicemail drop. You need a combination of these things in the right mixture to really produce the value that you're looking for, right? And the mix that we've seen work most effectively. Again, 10 years now in business, and we're nurturing literally hundreds of millions of contacts for real estate professionals. We send hundreds of millions of messages per year. We're nurturing about 16 million contacts for real estate professionals. I want to get the data right, because this is derived from the data. So the first component is 17 non-salesy emails per year. So what's a non-salesy email? What do you think that is, Tristan?
Well, probably something that comes from value, that doesn't say, hey, look what I'm selling. Oh, check what I just listed. Check what I just sold, right? It's more like,
sure,
hey, look what's going on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more non-salesy for sure.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to show the people in your database that you care about them beyond the commission they potentially represent for you. That's so important. And so if all they're getting from you is new listings, price change alerts, real estate information, here's what's happened in our market, it's not enough, right? It's good that you're sending that stuff. It's just not enough, right? So in addition to doing that, we recommend 17 non-salesy emails per year. That's important. And then we suggest you send 6 to 12 conversation starting text messages per year. And I'll break down this recipe for you. So there's 2 dates on the calendar that should be really important. You want to make sure that you're capturing these dates. The first is their birthday, and the second is their transaction anniversary. So with your past clients, this should be easy. You should have that data. You just need to get it in one place, right? So those are 2 of the 6 to 12 touches. And the birthday here is just such an important thing. Can I show you a text message here real quick, Tristan?
Do it. I want to see it. I want to see the response on this.
I mean, have you been getting these texts from Facebook lately?
No, I haven't
Get
gotten
a little closer. So my friend Cindy Hayden has a birthday today.
Oh, nice.
And Facebook is now texting me to let me know that it's her birthday. Right?
I love that.
That's kind of a nice feature.
I
Now,
like that a lot.
as nice as that is, it does have a bit of a drawback because, I mean, think of your last birthday. How many messages did you get? Do you think, Tristan? You're connected to so many people. Like,
That was fun.
you can get absolutely lost on their birthday with all the other notices that they're getting.
Very true.
So, I like to combine text with a voicemail drop for people's birthdays. I like the text to go out a week before their birthday, saying, "Hey, Tristan, I just wanted to see if I'm first to wish you a happy birthday. Hope you're doing great." Right? And you go, "Oh, yeah, you actually are. Wow, thanks." And then on your birthday, I want an automated voicemail drop to go out to you. "Hey, it's me, Dan. Just wanted to say happy birthday. I know you're getting crushed with people telling you that today. Let's talk soon. Again, happy birthday. Bye." Like, simple, should sound just like you're making it up on the spot instead of reading a script.
I love that, dude. Super easy, super connected. It feels very authentic.
Yeah, that's the whole point is, awesome people show up as being authentic. That's one of the things that was mentioned by people when we asked that question. So that covers 2 of the 6 to 12. The next 4 messages are what I call quarterly lead harvesting messages. So, you can text somebody and say something like, "Hey, Tristan, got a minute? I could use a hand." Now, Tristan and I have a relationship. What happens when you get that text from me?
Well, you hit you back up super quick.
Yeah. What's going on? Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's great. We just really need some inventory. Do you know anyone in your neighborhood that's thinking of moving? Right? Like, start the conversation, then you can pivot into a script that will help you generate listing opportunities and buyer opportunities. So that's one way to do it. Okay, so that's 4 texts per year. And then the balance, these other 6 messages are going to be holidays that you care about. So, right now, as we're recording this on December 14th, we're in the middle of the juiciest part of the year to get back in touch with people you haven't talked to. So, please, like, whatever you do between now and the end of the year, find time to reach out to people who haven't heard from you in a while. I promise you, they'll be glad to hear from you. You may be feeling a little guilt, like, "Oh, I should have kept in touch with that person. We did a deal like 4 years ago and I haven't reached out." Reach out to them. Like, it's okay. They're human too. They didn't keep in touch with you either. You definitely need to do that. Okay. So that's your 6 to 12 texts per year. And then we're going to mirror those. We're going to mirror those with 6 to 12 ringless voicemail drops per year. So a ringless voicemail drop is when their phone doesn't ring. They just see that you left a message for them, right? And they go, "Oh gosh, I missed this call." And they listen. And then if they hit call back, it goes directly to your phone. Okay. So ringless voicemail, you can do that with a few different companies out there. Like, let's be clear here, right? It's free to be awesome. You're going to need some tech to really implement this plan. So to put this plan in place and really implement it, you've got to have some basic technological components, right? So you've got your contact records. They're in your phone, right? They're in your email. They're in most likely your MLS, right? They're in your transaction management software. They're in your lead gen software. If you're buying leads from realtor.com or Zillow or wherever you're getting them, you've got contacts that are there. So I'm going to ask you to go through your life and find 100 people, just 100 people that you actually know, who actually know you, that you would like to actually have conversations with. Okay. This is key. This is not 100 strangers. This is not 100 dead leads from an open house you did a few years ago. These are 100 people that you'd actually like to have conversation with. Because again, guys, we're talking about simplifying, right? We're not trying to message everyone in the world here. We're narrowing our focus to just 100 people that we really want to have good quality relationships with. So, I'm sure at least one of you are watching this are saying, well, what if I don't have 100 people? That's okay. Start where you have. The best thing about being awesome and implementing this plan is it scales. You can start with one other person and you can grow it into hundreds and hundreds or thousands of people over time. You can absolutely do that. So I see some of these questions here. I'm going to circle back here and answer. So step 2 is implementing the plan, right? The first step is learning the plan. We've got 6 to 12 conversation starting texts and 6 to 12 voicemail drops per year that mirror each other. So, that's answering your question there. So your voicemails and your texts are going to work in concert with each other. So it's their transaction anniversary. You want to have a text and a voicemail drop. It's their birthday, a text and a voicemail drop. It's quarterly lead harvesting time. You want a text and a voicemail drop. And then, of course, for these holiday messages that go out through the year, you want to do that as well. So hope that clears that up. Now, when it comes to technology you need, let's just talk about the different components that you need here. Do you need to have some sort of CRM system to implement this? Yes, absolutely you do. It could be as simple as a shoebox. Like maybe you've got a bunch of handwritten cards in a shoebox and you get them organized that way to do it. That's totally fine. You've spent nothing. You probably already have a shoebox somewhere. Index cards are stupid cheap, right? So you could organize it that way. I see like Zoe is commenting, could you use WhatsApp or SMS? Absolutely. You can put calendar reminders in your calendar saying, I'm going to follow up with this person on this day and that person on that day. And, pretty soon you're going to have tasks that you have to do lined up for every single day of the year. And, one of the key components to being successful is implementing a plan you can stick to. Like you've got to set this up in a way that you do it not just once, but where you can consistently rely upon it and automate it over time, right? And that's why Tristan and I have been collaborating. That's why we got together months ago and we started putting together the different elements of this to make it super easy for you guys to win when you implement this plan. And so what we did is we took a very special version of my software at Happy Grasshopper and we created LCA Nurture, right? So how awesome is this, right? This is only available for members of LabCoatAgents, and it's got special content, special timing, special features that are coming available for you guys that I'm so excited to talk with you about. So first thing that we do in LCA Nurture is we create the content for you. I have a whole staff of copywriters here at Happy Grasshopper. They write the content, they load it into the system, and you have the option of sending it the way it is, or you can edit a little bit to make it more your own and then send it out. So we put those 17 emails, the 6 to 12 texts, and the 6 to 12 voicemail drops automatically on a plan for you, and then that plan just runs, okay? So here's what you should expect. Like when you implement this, and again, whether you implement it on your own, the manual way, or whether you use LCA Nurture to do it, you're gonna get replies almost instantly. So as soon as you load contacts in and you send a message, you're going to find that people reply. And we see this so consistently. Like here, Cassidy is telling us she got her first reply in just 12 minutes, right? Just 12 minutes. And maybe the best part here is that she only added 3 contacts to test it. So again, it doesn't matter. Maybe you only have 3 contacts. Maybe you have 30. Maybe you have hundreds. It doesn't matter. You've got to start where you are. That's the important part. So the data on this is really, really important. So I didn't really introduce myself at the beginning. I'm kind of assuming that maybe you know who I am, and that's probably a mistake. 10 years ago, I founded a company called Happy Grasshopper. And I did this after exiting my CRM company. So, when I had just a pure CRM company, the biggest problem was not selling it. That part was easy. The challenge was getting people to actually use it. Like only 18% of our membership base ever logged into the system, right? So think about that. Do you have technology at your brokerage that you don't use? Has your broker ever provided something that you haven't used? Have you bought software yourself that you haven't used? You probably have. We used to call it shelfware, right? You just buy it and it sits on a shelf. You don't do anything with it. So when I started Happy Grasshopper, my plan was to solve that problem. And, to do that, we realized we had to have a team of copywriters creating content that you love so much that you wanted to send it. You wanted to make absolutely sure that it went out. And what we've seen is that we create really great results for people when we do that. Over 99% of all the messages we send are delivered, right? And, if we look at just the raw data here, just the raw metrics, if we look across our entire membership at Happy Grasshopper, the open rate for email is nearly double the industry rate. So that's super strong. Now, when we look just at LCA Nurture, it's even higher, which is kind of crazy, but think about it. You're not trying to send to thousands of people. You're trying to send to a maximum of 250 people who really, really know you. And that's why the open rates are so high. That's why the reply rates are so high. So what do you think, Tristan? Is this all making sense?
It does, man. I think the key to that is understanding that this isn't just for everybody in your database, right? It's those key people that know you and will probably stop you at a supermarket to be like, hey, Dan, what's up, Dan? Right? Like that.
Yeah, if you see someone across the supermarket, how often do we have this experience? We're like, I know that person. Oh my gosh, where do I know that person from? They probably shouldn't be in this list, right? We want the people getting these messages to go, oh, it's Tristan. Oh, it's Dan. Awesome. We want them to engage with you that way, right? You'll do far more good for yourself by cultivating these real relationships than you will with trying to have thousands of relationships.
That's the key.
So, I want to break down the value proposition here, right? So, if we're saying that there are 12 transactions per year for every 100 contacts that you're running this plan with, let's put our calculators to work here. NAR tells us average GCI is $6,000. What is it in your market, Tristan? I'm guessing it's higher.
Yeah, I think average is about 15.
Yeah, just a little higher at 15 grand, right? So, NAR also tells us the average agent makes a little under $40,000 per year. I don't want to be average, right? You don't want to be average. You want to be awesome. That's important. So even if we run with this number though, those 12 transactions are worth 72 grand. For you, Tristan, they're worth considerably more, right? Considerably more, almost 3 times as much. There's over $200,000 of value for you in really cultivating these relationships.
Yeah.
So, my question is for you, whoever you are watching this, in your market, whatever those numbers are, how much is it worth to you? What is the value to you if you were to close 12 more transactions in a year? That would be significant.
Yeah.
Would be. So, I'd like to know, if you knew for sure you could get a $6,000 payday, what would you invest for that payday? Right, what do you think that's worth?
All right. You want people to respond in the chat?
Yeah, sure. I'm curious. What would you spend for a $6,000 payday?
Well, I'll take a shot at this. I think probably for a $6,000 payday, I'd probably invest $2 to $3K. I'd like to double, right?
Yeah, I see Brant says $1K, $2 to $3K.
Yeah.
Okay. $3K. Seeing some more answers come in. Jim, I'm not sure if that's $1, $100. Okay, there you go. $1,000. Okay.
$1 definitely, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm in for $1, buddy.
Yeah. And you know what? There was a previous question from Zoe about, can you use this in Toronto? Absolutely. Wherever you are in the world, you can use this. Definitely do that. So, these answers that are coming in are good to see. If we just look at the industry, though, we already have some answers. If you're on a 50-50 split, we know you're spending about $3,000, right? A referral, typically would cost about $1,500. And when you add that stuff up and you think about what it would cost to hire a copywriter, like it's way, way less than hiring a copywriter.
100%.
So, copywriting is so interesting because if you think about the world's best copywriters, they are minting cash it's just amazing how much capital they can earn because of how much capital they can generate for other people. So, I have a staff of copywriters and I pay attention to this. And there's a website called Copy Hackers where you can go there and you can see what the cost would be to have a project created. And comparable to the sort of content that we've built into LCA Nurture, it would cost you about $10,000 a year just to have the content.
Wow.
And then you still need to have a way to send it, right? So there's a huge difference between content that's like written by a high school kid or someone on Fiverr and stuff that's created by a true professional copywriter, okay? Now, professional copywriters pay attention to what works. They don't pay attention necessarily to making you sound like you're a, lawyer or a doctor or a professional real estate agent, right? They care about what generates the response. And because they're so good at generating the response, that's why they're able to command those types of fees. Now, LCA Nurture, of course, is not that. Like, we're not charging anywhere near that. In fact, it's just $47 to start and $470 for the year, right? So pretty straightforward. It's 41 touches, and you add those two numbers together, it's 517 your first year, and then it's just 470 for any future years, right? So if we run the calcs on this and we look about the return on this investment, if we got just one transaction, that would be an $11.60 payoff for every dollar that was invested. That's a 1,160% return on that investment. Tristan, do you have any money in stock?
I do a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I do a little bit too, but I don't have stock where I put $1 in and I get $11.60 out very often. Like,
not very often. You're
sell me that stock, right? Whatever that is, I want to buy it. But we're not talking about just one transaction either. We're talking about 12. So, if you put that $47 to start and $470 in, and you pulled all 12 transactions that are available there for you, that is an insane return, 13,926%, right? So a lot of you guys said you're willing to spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for one transaction. Here we're talking about investing $500 for a potential return of $72,000. I mean, that's incredible. And this, by the way, are the sort of results that we're seeing. So I'll give you a real life example. There's an agent in Texas, Houston actually, named Randall Martin. And I'll show you the non-salesy email that he sent from our system.
Ooh,
so it reads, "Did you see this? Blockbuster's last store is now an Airbnb rental. Ha! They set it up with 90s furniture, TV, VCR, and all the movies you can watch for $4 per night. And call me crazy, but I actually love this. It kind of makes me wish they'd pay more attention to Netflix and pivoted sooner." Speaking of real estate changes, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving, or even someone we could convince to move if they got enough money for their home? Right? So again, guys, we're sharing something interesting that's happening now. That's demonstrating that we care about the relationship more than we care about the commission. And then, oh, by the way, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving, or even someone we could convince to move, right? Now, we're not saying to them, hey, I want to sell your house, right? It's a different thing. We're asking them to help us help other people. So there's a psychological transition there that's really important. It's worth calling the attention of, because when people read this, their natural inclination is to go, well, what's enough money for my home?
Yeah.
Like, what's my home worth, right? And that's exactly the reply that Randall got from one of his past clients. So here's the actual email. I just, redacted some information here, but hi, Randall. Hope that you, Vanessa, and your family are doing well. Your last sentence got me. I've seen some wildly different valuations for our home from Chase, from refinancing, and from Zillow. We've been talking about possibly moving. Are you able to give me an idea what we could list for, right? Then they give the address. Like, this is an opportunity that he had that he didn't know he had. Like, there was no possible way for him to uncover this opportunity. And in his market, this is a very significant transaction.
Yeah.
Very significant transaction. So, you know, Randall reached out to us. He was ecstatic by this. And he also posted in the members group inside his brokerage. And so he kind of told that story. And then a half an hour later or so, he posts this. He says, not kidding, just got a second email from a client that closed in 2017 that's been talking about moving to a larger one-story, right? So this is potentially 4 sides here, right? He's got existing clients that may want to move. So he'll get the listing. He'll help them buy the next one. And then here's a second client. So he says, if both of these alone were to pan out at all, we're talking between $1.5 to $2 million in turnarounds for the sell buy on both. Not bad for one email, right? So how awesome is this? Like, how great would it be for you to send a simple little message and discover you've got almost $60,000 of commission potentially generated in just a few minutes from the reply? Like, this is the value of the relationship. You can't generate that kind of response with a brand new lead. There's no texture. There's no context for that relationship. You can only do that with people who know you, like you, and trust you, right? Your close sphere, not strangers.
I agree, man. All right, we've got about 4 minutes left, but there's some good questions. Yeah. Carol's got one. Do the touches integrate with our CRM like Chime, or do you reach out through a platform/CRM?
We reach out through our platform. But of course, we do have integrations with hundreds of different systems via third-party tools like Zapier, PieSync, for example, and direct API integrations with a bunch of other services. So, you know, let's review here, guys. We're talking about $47 to start and $470 for the year. That covers all your 41 touches. And the way to take advantage of that, let me share this. Just go to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture, right? Pretty simple. So I know Tessa or Jake or somebody's going to drop that in there for us. That's awesome. Yep. And Zoe, I see your comment. Like, every brokerage offers something. They do. And one strength of having your own platform is that these are your contacts that you control. Like, you know, keeping your data somewhere is very important to do that. Yeah. Christine, I see your question about a trial. There is no trial. There is a 100% money back guarantee that lasts for your first 30 days. So if you don't love it, we'll give you everything back. And Patrick, for that price and 41 touches, how many contacts? This is up to 250 contacts in your account. And of course, at Happy Grasshopper, we have other accounts that scale beyond that. June, your question, what is the monthly? It's $47 to start and $47 per month. Or if you pay the annual plan, it's only $470 for the whole year, right? So that's actually the equivalent of 2 months free. And when you buy the annual plan, we're doing something super cool. So only for the first 100 people. When you get the annual plan, you also get Revaluate completely free for those contacts that you load in the system.
I love that.
So Revaluate is a super cool service, guys. What they do is they look at all those people that you load in the system and they predict their likelihood to move, right? So inside our system, you get to see the likelihood that each of your contacts are going to move. And we can even help you create content that's appropriate to send to those people. So there's all sorts of super cool reasons to do this now. It is the right time of year. It is a ridiculous price point. You get this crazy great special bonus. And we are just about out of time. So once again, I'll put this link up here, happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. And I will do my best to answer whatever other questions we may have in the time we've got left.
Can you send this out to everybody that registered? Because we had, I think, close to 400 people registered for this. And I know some people missed this and still want to get it, or they missed half of this. So can you blast this out to everybody that registered so they get it as well?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Wendy's asking, how do you balance keeping in touch with keeping people from unsubscribing?
Well, that is a really good question. If we look across our data set, we see the typical unsubscribe rate is a fraction of 1%. It's a really small number because we're not hammering people so hard with real estate, real estate, real estate. It's more relationship stuff. And these are people who actually know you that should be in there. Mm-hmm. So unsubscribes are really high for things like newsletters, and they're really low for personal keep in touch. So that's one way that's managed. And actually, funny story here, Kirby Chan in Toronto, he taught me something years ago. You know Kirby, Tristan? He's awesome.
Kirby. Good dude.
He approached me at an event and was like, oh my God, I love your service. It's working great. But I got this unsubscribe. And I was like, oh no, what happened? And he said, well, I just, I called them and I asked and turns out they didn't want to unsubscribe. They made a mistake. So he was thinking from his perspective, any engagement from a person is potentially good engagement. It's a reason for a conversation. So, and yes, we do report on all that. All that's right there inside the system.
I love that. Let me see. We got all the questions, man. All
Great.
Right.
Fantastic.
Thanks for doing this. We put the link there again. And if you missed any portion of this, it is recorded. We also put the link to our YouTube channel. Go to LabCoatAgents on YouTube. You can watch the replay in a few hours. And if you miss it, we'll probably send it to you by email along with the offer here to your email. So thanks, Dan. I appreciate that, man.
You're so welcome, Tristan. I'm grateful for you, brother. I'm expressing some gratitude right here at the end. Yep.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Tammy, Merlinda, Patrick. Yeah, I love it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thanks so much for the participation. We had great participation on this one.
We did. Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.